Still with Mick Price down at his stables at Caulfield. Mick, 60 seconds with you.
Old man was a bookie, so me and the two brothers grew up with racing all along. So as soon as I could get out of school, I went into the horses and have been here ever since. For trainers for about 13 years, from probably the age of 18 to 31. Worked for all the good horse trainers at the time, Bobby Hoisted and Johnny Marr and George Hanlon, and down at Epsom. The last trainer I worked for was the Freedy brothers at Symbol Lodge at Epsom, down at Braeside there. And then I became a trainer after 13 years of trying to get some information in this thick head. You know what, I'm going to go 3 mares because I think it's unfair on the other mares to not include them, because the best sprinter is Black Caviar, the best middle distance horse is Winks, and the best stayer is Maccabee Diva. All mares. Respect for the way Chris Waller does things. I keep my horses at Rosehill when we go to Sydney, so I'm in the trainer's tower there, and got a lot of respect for the way that model works. For trainers I've worked for, I liked Bobby Hoisted when I worked for him. The most fastidious, meticulous trainer ever, and it was just beautiful to work there. The care and attention that went into the looking after of the horses on a daily basis, and for a small team, for him to get his results, I thought he'd be about the best trainer I've worked for. Week. Let's say I'm in charge for the duration. I reckon you need to be mindful of prize money distribution. I think that's where it starts. If you want the industry buoyant and to look after participants, I think you need to be careful of getting too involved in the top end of prize money, in the big ego races. I think I would lead in this state, even Super Vobis. They've got $1 million race days here. Well, you know what? I'm sort of struggling to see what good that does. If they've got that prize money and they had the bigger prize money in a lot more races, and people scratching their head saying, how good is this? They'd get a constant response every week rather than one big race day. I would distribute that prize money in a bit of a different way, I'd say. You ought to know, I used to train Group 1s and trundle up the hill, and the kids would be on the phone, here's our order. So I should know those great celebrations. For myself, mate, whatever contains fried dim sims gets me.
The dimmy, so you're not too South Yarra with calamari or scallops or anything like that? Pretty meat and potatoes?
Mate, I'm a pretty basic sort of bloke, but I think I've had 1 million fried dim sims in my time. I scream at my Siri when it doesn't work in the car. You let her swear at Siri, because that's what happens in my car. I think the last soundtrack was Lady Gaga. I reckon she was great in that movie. Yes. It was the first time anyone really has seen the real Lady Gaga. Thought she was great. Not a lot of chemistry between her and Brad, but I like that soundtrack. I got 3 bikes if I get time. Usually me and Dunny and Kieran Ma get a day to go to Phillip Island, but we haven't done that for a while because we're too busy training horses all the time. But I've got a Aprilia sitting in the garage, which is, I think it's capitulating under the stress of me riding it all the time. So I do need a new motorbike. So next time I train a big race winner, Ducati, here I come.
Mick, thanks for your time, mate. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.